Okay, so
Intro.
There you go. Thank you.
game capture.
I think we need to write down on a document somewhere the troubleshooting steps for I cannot walk.
Okay, I have a feeling that the stream has now gone live,
That tonight's going to be a good night.
and
Well,
tonight
for
is going to be a
me,
good night.
it's very rare for me to be without a weapon, so.
Okay, ladies and gents, what I am also going to do. Bum, 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 ba-dum. Give me just another couple of seconds. Oh god, which one am I? I'm the one with the
one in the
UGL,
middle.
where am I? I am there, cool. It's just got player 4 written under my name, that was really weird, considering I was the first person in. I don't know why it does that. If I'm the first person in, and then it will randomly just be like, I'm now making you player 4. Oh, cheers, game. Prick. That light's really bright through night vision as well. It's actually hurting my eyes. I can't do anything about it.
I could just get. Do you want me to move it?
No, it's fine. Right, did I tell anybody to go to the box? No.
But
Not
it's
in the box,
magical
I'm just-
box.
Fucking bunch of magpies. Right.
Monkey sees box, neuron activation.
Yeah, exactly. Right, inside the box there are some...
I am a dog.
Inside the
What
box
do you
there are some
expect?
NVs, so if you go up to it, use your scroll wheel to get to the inventory, or go up to it and press I, drag and night vision onto your night vision slot. Whom that includes you. Cool. Whom is don't know what whom is doing.
Whom's in it?
I'm picking up night vision.
Oh, you are in it. Okay.
What up?
So who's still over there? Oh, Crossroads, it's you. Of course it's you.
Yeah, I have my nods on.
Just
I
getting
have
yelled
all-
at and over.
I have all of my night fighting equipment on me.
I see no nods. Are you specifically using the invisible one?
Nods.
Okay.
Okay then.
Right, the first thing we're going to do, before we actually put our nods on, is we're going to take a casual stroll through the base. Okay, this is going to sound, excuse the pun, a bit noddy to start with, but we are literally going to do a little bit of what the fuck can't we see? Okay, it's a relatively clear night, but it is dark. I will also change the weather so you can really compare. Like when it's cloudy, holy shit, it's dark. Okay. Then we'll go to the range. I've put a box on the range that's got various bits of equipment. We'll discuss each bit of equipment. We'll play with all these bits of equipment. Honestly, this is going to also be a little bit of feedback session from all of you. So it's like, what equipment do you think would be useful to us as a group to say to everybody else when we're on the ops, look, this is what we should be carrying, so that we don't end up with everybody just doing their own thing. Crossroads carries so much night fighting gear he can't carry ammo. I literally just carry an IR laser because I'm lazy and I don't like carrying weight.
Oi!
And then we've got everything in between.
I've spent a lot of time refining my loadouts, thank you very much. I weigh a total of 28 kilos.
Excellent. So
With
make sure
fighting gear.
make sure your nods are off, whom, and yeah, follow me.
Calling me fat.
So while we're here, okay, if we stand sort of not directly under the light, while we're stood here now with no night vision, having a quick look around, okay, you can make out some things. So you can make out, for example, to the south we have a big tower. You can kind of see the silhouette, but if there was anyone in the tower, clearly you wouldn't be able to fucking see them because it's dark. Down the road, down to the northwest, you can see that there's an armoured vehicle because it's directly under the spotlight. Clearly, if it wasn't under the spotlight, guess what? Wouldn't be able to see it. So we all know how the dark works. The same works for us. So if it's dark, even against the AI, it does take them longer to identify you. Now, clearly, if you're sprinting around and making loads of noise, they're going to still work out where you are. And once they work out where you are, you have to break contact for them to lose sight of you. Okay, so bear that in mind. Also bear in mind that depending on who we're fighting, they may or may not have their own night fighting capabilities. Crossroads may be able to confirm what those night fighting capabilities are on the current campaign, and usually that will come up as part of your brief. So if we know we're going to be doing a night op, the briefing should include, right, the enemy have or have not got X, Y, and Z. So follow me.
Quickly, the stream is a black screen.
Cool. I will endeavour to fix that.
How very apt.
That's because it's trying to capture the wrong game. Excellent.
Are these supposed to be
Burns?
screws?
Yes. They are really, really, really big army-grade, squaddy-proof Phillips head screws.
You do not say squatty proof. Squatties will find a way.
Let's just go with everything.
I know, I
Do
was
not-
one.
Yeah, no such thing as squaddy proof.
The instructions that come with it are 50 pages of do not do this.
Yeah. So as we move through light and dark as well, have a look around at your buddies and just get a feel for how easy it is to identify who's who with that. Obviously, you get a green name appear above people, but if you're not looking directly at someone, you don't see their name, have a look around and see how hard it is to identify what uniform people are wearing, what equipment they're carrying, what weapons they're carrying, etc. Yeah, clearly.
And you just turned invisible for me.
Exactly. So, equally, I can't see the ground, I can't see where I'm going, but I'm going to keep my nods off because I want to see if I can navigate out of the base. Again, you know, silhouettes of buildings and things, but yeah, you're not going to be able to identify if there's anyone in those buildings without any night fighting capabilities. That's what we're going to go and talk about.
If you're not able to see a way out of that base, you must be blind as shit. I can see the mountain range over to the northeast.
Nope. Situational awareness. Figure out what you
I
can
mean, I
see
can-
and what you can't see, and use that.
Make out the silhouette of it.
I have almost 100% visibility, and I'm not running any night mods.
Um,
Yeah, I can see it.
Cool,
there.
right. So we're heading towards the northwest. Crossroads, you've probably got so many fucking client-side mods that it's just...
No, actually, I like the darkness. I have no mods that tamper with light.
Uh-huh.
If anything, I have mods that make my life harder and darker.
So,
I am a creature of the dark.
Oh,
as-
that is
as we-
anti-
Yep. really hard to see each other, isn't it?
Yep.
So, let's head to the light, which in a tactical situation would be a really, really bad idea. Okay, so while we're standing here in the light, reference tower to my north about 50 meters away, okay? Just behind that tower is a small brick-built shack. That's where we're going to meet up. What I want you guys to do, and try not to cheat, without your nods, is see if you can find your way to the brick-built shack, and then when you think you are there, stand still, put your nods on, and don't move, and we'll see where we all end up. We're literally going to go and fumble around in the fucking dark for the fun of it.
Yay!
Yeah, don't cheat. Okay, literally, once you put your nods on, you stay still, you don't move, and then we'll see where we all ended up. Stand by. Go! I was going to shoot the light out as well, but nah.
Bit excessive.
So you
God,
said
you've all
it's-
disappeared. Oh my fucking god. I think I can just about make out the roof as I get close enough to it. Nods on, and I am just under the edge of the shack. Where the hell have you guys gone? Holy shit! Okay, so
you
I
said just past the
said just
shack-
behind,
the-
just behind the tower. So if you can find the tower, just behind it is a shack. Oh, hey Mason.
Hi.
I'm gonna turn my nods
That's
on
in front
now.
of the tower?
Let's see how close I am to this shack. Oh, I'm standing on the shack.
Standing-
I think.
what-
Am I standing on it?
Hang on, stay where you are a sec. Whom
Oh,
do you?
no, I'm not.
Where
I
do you
thought
think
it'd
you
be
are, mate?
Shooting range.
Hey, right. Whom was just inside it? Mason was just inside it. Oh yeah, you're on the ranges. So yeah, clearly what that demonstrates is without some kind of night fating capability, it gets really fucking difficult. Okay, yeah, we already know that, but I thought we'd have a bit of fun with it. So while you've got your nods on, head to the brick shack. There's an inventory box of bits and bobs that we will start going through in a minute. But before we really start getting into playing with that equipment ourselves, so don't just raid the box and go mental. Crossroads, I want you to do me a small favour. Okay, so in fact, no, not the back of the shack. Let's go onto the range. Come onto the firing point, everybody. And then just line up, and you're not going to be shooting at the targets, but if you look down towards the northeast and you'll see some targets. Crossroads, I would like you to head down somewhere near those targets where we can, or should, where you're within our line of sight, basically, but about 200 meters away, either in front of or to one side of the targets. Okay,
Am
for
I
every...
carrying up or just standing?
No, you carry on standing. For everybody else, I want you to turn your night vision off again. Okay, this is going to be a little bit of a sort of a why things are seen kind of thingamajig. Crossroads, you've got access to Ace Arsenal as well, so you can obviously do replaying on yourself.
Yes.
Cool. So, what I am going to basically do, Crossroads, once he gets into position, hopefully he's going to let me know. We're going to carry
I
on
have
looking down
found
the range.
position.
Excellent. We're going to carry on looking down the range, and Crossroads is going to do something that may or may not illuminate his position. I haven't told Crossroads what this is going to be, so I am as much in the dark about it as you are. But it might be something subtle, it might be something big, but essentially he's going to do something, and when you see it, I want, and by all means shout it out, I want you to say what it is you can see. So, Crossroads, in your own time,
Mhm.
make some kind of illumination of whatever your imagination might be, and then we'll see if we can identify it.
Righto. Here. Let's make sure I've got the.
Make sure your
right
nods are off, by the way, ladies and gents. And for those of you who aren't sure which way you need to face, roughly bearing 4-5. I think.
I'm
He's...
facing northeast, so
Yeah, northeast, yeah. So roughly bearing 4-5, northeast.
Oop.
Tracer fire.
Tracer fire, yeah. Did anyone see what colour tracer fire?
It
Red.
looked yellow to me.
Look yellow. Crossroads, can you confirm if it was red or yellow?
Red tracer.
Red tracer. Fire a couple more off.
Ooh, pretty.
Still looks yellow to me.
Sort of orange, but yeah. I can see why. Yeah, if you were firing lots of them, it might be more apparent. Crossroads, have you got any yellow tracer?
I can get some yellow tracer.
Yeah, for comparison, can you just ping some of those off as well, mate? And I think there's another colour. You've got green as well, haven't you? Can any of you guess why it might be a good idea to know what colour tracer you're looking at?
Because we could have standardized tracer fire for night missions.
For our
So
guys
if
and
we
girls?
know-
Yeah. Yeah, so
I
knowing what
do
colour you find.
believe the enemy uses green tracers, so if we saw a green tracer, we would track that green tracer to where it came from and potentially fire on a friendly.
Bingo. 2 out of 2. Fuck me. Yep, so if you know the enemy is using green, you don't want to be using green. You want to be using either yellow or red. Make sure you will know what colour to expect from both sides for exactly the 2 reasons you just confirmed.
In the current campaign, ground troops use green and aircraft use red.
On the
If
enemy
you're
team.
getting lit up, yeah. If you're getting lit up by an enemy aircraft, you're probably not going to survive either way.
So on that basis, if we use tracer, I would suggest we use yellow. Because if the enemy are using red and green, for exactly the reasons you two have already identified, we probably want to identify, probably don't want to be using the same colour as them because that will cause confusion. Cool. So Crossroads. If you
have
could,
some more tracer coming in.
that was very green.
That looked
Wait.
green.
Is that green?
Mm-hmm.
Not to me. It looks yellow still. Confused?
50 Shades of Yellow.
It's like a
Do it
yellow.
on fully automatic
green.
or fire fast, like fire a few
Oh.
rounds off like a burst.
Right, come in yellow.
That was definitely yellow, yeah.
They all look the same.
Okay, go to green.
Switching back to green.
Oh, that's pretty.
Albeit it's a light green, but I would say it's
I'm
green.
not seeing a visual
And
difference.
then switching to red.
That
Red's-
one looked a little darker, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Then
So
going
it's
white.
Ooh, white tracers. Yeah, so the difference is obviously a little bit subtle as well. So if you're not sure, ask someone else for a second opinion, or go on the radio and say, "Hey, is that tracer any of our guys or girls?" They've always got that backup. Use the comms.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm gonna have to rely on because all 4 of those tracer colors look the same.
Fair
That's
enough.
why I usually say something like, I have potential enemy contact who's got so-and-so tracer color.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Crossroads.
Mm-hmm.
can you please use another form of something that may or may not stand out in the dark, more or less?
Right, yep.
And we will see if we can A, spot it, and B, identify it. Feel free to move around a little bit as well if you think we're pinging exactly where you're standing, because at the moment I don't know about the others, but I can't see actually where you are. But clearly, the more things you do,
I've got a rough estimate that they're northeast 40, bearing 40.
yeah. So that's the other thing I will say as well, actually, everyone. If you see exactly where Crossroads is, look straight at him and give a bearing. If you're not sure, just don't. But if you're like, I think I know where he is, give a bearing and we'll have a look.
Mm-hmm.
I have dropped a chem light.
Seen. Bearing.
Oh yeah, it's very faint.
4-9.
What color is it, Jenna?
Looks orange from my position.
Red.
Not seen from my position.
Yeah, if you hold right click and look, you might see it. It is very, very faint. It almost looks like he's lit a cigarette.
Yeah.
Yep, seen.
So bearing
I
in
couldn't
mind,
see it from my berm.
yeah.
Post,
So
whatever.
bearing in mind that's obviously 200 meters away from us. Crossroads, is that the standard orange?
That's red.
Oh, that's red. Okay,
Wow.
we were unsure if it was red or orange, but okay. Try a high chem light as well, because you can get standard and you still get high color. So that's a standard red. So if you compare it to a high red,
Yep. High red.
oh fuck me.
Seen at damn,
Yeah.
that thing's fucking bright.
Yep. So you see the difference. So a high
6-0.
chem light stands out like a sore thumb. Okay. Now clearly
Oh,
because it's red, it's not as bad. Now white light travels a lot further at night, which we'll demonstrate in a sec as well. So chem lights, if you're patrolling, what you can do, and I'm going to do it to myself right now, is you can actually put a chem light on yourself
Yeah, chem shield.
like this. Everyone look at me. Can you see a green chem light on me?
Yes.
Yep.
It's on your left shoulder.
Yep. So it sticks out behind you, which means basically the person behind you can see you. Yeah. Now clearly, if I turn around and face you, it's going to be a bit harder to see it. So do bear in mind that when you put things like chem lights and IR strobes, they're on your back. So if you're facing someone, they might not see it. Bear that in mind.
That's just straight up fucking creepy with you staring at me.
Crossroads, how well can you see my green chem light, by the way, from there?
Very well. I've
Very well.
moved.
You've moved. Okay, fine. So
For
these
the
are,
next identifier, you'll see how close I am.
yeah, so these are fantastic as squad identifiers as well. So think about it. You've got various different colors. There's various different reasons you might employ these now. Those SOPs may change depending on who your squad leader is and so on. But it might be that you go, right, Charlie Fire Team, you're going to wear blue. Delta Fire Team, you're going to wear yellow. Yeah? Or something like that.
Wouldn't that be quite dangerous at night, though? Because the enemy can see that.
They can, but it's not. It doesn't stand out as much as some other light that you could use.
Yeah.
Because with chem lights in real world application, if it's a bit too bright, put it in one of your pockets of your webbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crossroads.
Yep.
Read your map, please.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you open your map right now, anybody else, if you're stood near a light source, it will illuminate the map. If you are not stood near the light source, guess what? Your map is extremely dark. Now, I can, on my map right now, barely see it. You can use a torch on your map. However, as Crossroads is hopefully about to... Now, I don't know what colour torch he's going to use, but you've got white light and you've got red light. And he's going to use one or the other in a moment, hopefully, and we're going to see him light up like a fucking Christmas tree.
Torch is on.
What colour torch are you using? I can't even see
Red
it.
light.
Seen 4041.
4-1.
I think that's the same chem light as earlier.
Oh no, that wait, yeah, that's a chem light. Sorry.
Okay, Crossroads, can you switch to using a white light on your map, please?
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming you've still got line of sight to us as well.
Oh yeah.
Good.
White light on.
Literally can't see you. That's a bit weird.
Haha. Okay.
Are you using a camouflage shield or something?
No.
Oh, you'll
Yeah,
Are
I
you laying
can't
down?
see either.
Yes.
stand up. And then try it.
Light on.
How fucking weird.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's quite weird. Hang on, I'm going to go into cheat mode for a sec because I want to see. Ah. Is that a white light you're using, Crossroads?
Right now, that's my weapons flashlight I'm using for my torch.
Cool.
And if I swap to my KSF1, that's that now.
Cool. Well, that fucks that lesson up then. I can't actually see you, even though I've even pinged my Zeus camera around right next to you, and I can't see you.
Yeah.
What about if you just turn your torch on, as in without the map? Bloody
damn
hell!
Christ.
So
Hi.
yeah, torches are a bad idea. Right. So that's white light, very bloody bright. Have you got a red torch?
No, just my KSF1.
That should do. Oh, you can only use on the map, can't you?
You know what? I'll turn my fucking light off in my room, and then I'll be able to see easier.
Yeah. So as you can see, white light travels quite a distance. Now, what I'm also going to do,
Yeah.
Crossroads, if you could stand in a non-aggressive state somewhere between us and the target tree, let me know when you're in position,
Mm-hmm.
i.e. within line of sight. Say
I'm finding a spot.
Roger.
I have found a spot.
You have found a spot. Good. Right. I'm going to lob a flare, not directly above our heads, because guess what? If I lob a flare above our heads, he'll be able to see us really bloody well. But if I throw a flare roughly 45 degrees down range, maybe slightly higher than 45, let's try this. Thump. Let that light up. Cool. So we've illuminated the ground in front of us, but we are still, okay, we're a little bit lit up, but nowhere near as bad as we would be. Can anyone see Major Crossroads standing anywhere between us and the targetry?
Northeast bearing 60 degrees.
Yep, seen. Everyone else seen?
Negative. No sight.
Between us
Reference
and the
light
tanks.
pole near the tank.
Yeah.
Oh, his silhouette's in front of the tank for me.
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
couldn't see him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he is. He's between us and the tank. Exactly that. So even though he's standing stock still, this goes into a little bit of why things are seen. But if you are looking and you lob a flare, the silhouette of a person, even 200 yards away, is not too difficult to, obtain. Now,
Nope.
that was a white flare. I am now going to,
Um,
for comparison, lob a red flare. If you tell me that was yellow.
Crossroads.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Preywinder. Sorry. What I was trying to say is his silhouette blended in with the tank. I thought
Okay.
it was just part of the shadowing of the camouflage of the tank, so
Fair
I
enough.
didn't see him.
Also kind of blends into why
Right.
things are seen. I have found a new spot.
Red flare. So, not anywhere near as bright in terms of illumination. So, bearing that in mind, if you need to illuminate a target, you're probably not going to use a coloured flare because, yeah, you can see the flare really, really easy, but it doesn't illuminate something. Now then, to give you a bit of a hint, I'm going to do something, and then I'm going to ask you a quick question, which is, why do you think you would launch a coloured flare directly above your own position?
To illuminate to friendly air forces or fellow ground forces of where your location is, or if you have like certain taskings you need to get done.
Or your status. Or if it has been agreed before on what the flare means, then you would launch the flare to indicate something.
Yep, so it could be green flare is friendly position, red flare is enemy position, so on and so forth, anything like that. We do the same with coloured smoke as well, so you could have, enemy position on red smoke, whatever. But yeah, so because it doesn't illuminate you as much as white does, a coloured flare, red or green, is going to do better for just marking stuff like that. Now, clearly it does
we
still
have a-
illuminate you a little bit, so be a bit
Do
careful.
we have a blue flare?
No.
We
Okay.
used to,
okay.
What
Compare
I'm
that to a white
thinking
flare.
for,
White flare
flares-
out,
Yeah.
and that's
What I think for flares would be the same for like what we use our smoke for, like Cassavac or emergency exfils during the night.
Yeah,
Depends on what
potentially.
brief.
Yeah, potentially. So you could use things like that. So
Yeah.
we've been standing here with no NVs on for this whole time, and we've worked out a few ways that we can illuminate or not illuminate with NVs. And bear in mind, right now, us standing here, we are lit out like a fucking Christmas tree. Like, he can see us as plain as day, literally, because of that white flare. Whereas with the
Bang,
green
bang.
flare or red flare, not quite as easy. That also does work for the AI as well. So if you're going to illuminate an enemy position, don't illuminate yourself. Everybody
And I
now.
also know where Crossroads is.
So
With
everyone
that white
now.
flare, I was able to visibility on him.
Yep. Yeah, I can see him as well. So everybody now, put your night vision on. Everything goes green. Okay. Now there are various other types of night visions you can get. So you get some that are bi rather than monocle. You get some that will give you thermal and stuff like that. But this is just a generic, basic, all-round green night vision. Most combat vehicles will also have inbuilt night vision on the commander sight and the gunner sights. So clearly, by looking around out there through your green, you can make out most things. Still not necessarily easy to identify crossroads at this range. So
I
you know,
see him at 5-1-ish.
5-1-ish.
Right.
Yeah.
Right in front of target 6.
Yeah. So if you're looking for him, yeah, you can just about see him. But clearly, it's not quite as easy to see as it would be during the daytime, whatever. Now, bear in mind as well that it's a relatively clear night. Now, let's see what happens if I go and set the weather to overcast with rain.
Oh, that's nice.
Did everybody's night vision just go from like okay to really not okay?
It's still
Yep.
okay. It's just a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Things are a little bit dimmer.
So something to bear in
Yeah.
mind with these night vision sites. We call them night vision sites. Their correct terminology is, can anyone throw it out there? Light
Light
intensifier.
refraction?
Light intensifiers. So they are light intensifiers, which means that they absorb any light source they can get hold of, even if it's just the moon or starlight, and they intensify it. I will tell you now, I have used a night vision sight that looks exactly the same as the one you're using in a dense woodland, and it didn't help. I may as well have not had the damn thing on, right? Because it was pitch black. There was no ambient light whatsoever. But when we stepped out of that woodblock and there was just a few stars around, it looked a bit more like what you're seeing now. So, yeah, you need a tiny bit of ambient light for it to work. Bear that in mind. I'm going to clear up the weather again now because I don't want to get wet. So let's go that. Put it back on clear weather. And
Oh,
my
Jesus
God.
Christ.
Now there's no cloud. Now there's shitloads of stars. Look how bright it is. Yeah?
Yeah.
While we're using night vision, there's various things that we can use. Okay? Inhuman is about to demonstrate for us, seeing as he's already got it turned on. So Whom, if you can see him, I want you to point your laser at Major Crossroads. Not straight at him in case you shoot him. Sort of aim it just over his head or something.
I'll need to reacquire him.
Okay.
Still at the same position. Bearing 5-1.
So I 5-1.
5-1 from my position, anyways.
So if you bring him on, Jenna, from where you're standing.
You need to go further left.
It's
Bring
at target
your
6.
cursor towards the target marker 6.
I am on target 6.
Okay.
Target
then
marker 5 for my location.
So I'm going to stop you there. So this is a really, really good lesson. If you guys remember all the way back to your initial training and things like navigation, where you can give a bearing as a reference, your bearings are slightly different. So for Jenna, you're like, he's between me and target 6. For Whom, it's probably more like between him and target 3, just because you're about 10, 20 meters apart left and right. So that's actually not a bad little side lesson. Whom, point your laser down range again.
Yep.
Where you thought he was. Okay. Down a bit. Come left about 2 targets. Maybe one more. Up a tiny bit. Is that roughly where he is, Jenna?
It's slightly to his right, but it could also just be the
So I'm deliberately
his night
saying
position.
I'm deliberately not making him aim straight at Crossroads' head just in case he NDs. But yeah, he's got the right sort of angle.
Yeah, close.
Are you?
No mag in the gun, so no
Oh.
ND this time.
Oh, okay. I wonder what you were doing then. Have you taken your laser off?
No. I've just taken the
Oh, there we go.
mag
Cool.
off.
Cool.
So,
So, IR lasers. These are great for things like, watch my laser. There's a target there or something there, an IED, whatever it might be. They're also great if you're doing things like room clearing or building clearing, because as a squad, if you've got all these turned on, you can all see where each other are aiming and things like that. So as a squad commander as well, or a section commander, you can look around and see where your guys are pointing. However, if the enemy have got night vision, bear in mind they will also be able to see these. So do be careful. Do be mindful of that. Crossroads, do you have an IR strobe or an IR grenade?
Both.
You have both. Okay, I would like you to throw an IR grenade somewhere towards us. I don't know how far you can throw it. And everybody looking through their night vision. Oh, an IR grenade. Look at that. IR grenades, really good for identifying things. Okay, now in this case, you could be using it in the same way that you might use a smoke or a flare to identify a position.
Mm-hmm.
What you can also do, Crossroads, if you attach one to yourself and start running around like a headless chicken. Now we're quite lucky because it's a clear night, we can see him quite well. I'm not going to dip the weather again just for this, but you'll get the idea. Crossroads is now blinking at us. However, as he changes direction, depending on where that strobe is sitting on his body, you may or may not be able to see it better. Okay, now it's on his sort of left shoulder, so if he turns to the right, because the strobe is on the other side of him. You can also attach them to vehicles, but the same thing applies. So if you attach a strobe to the front of your vehicle and someone's behind you, they might not see it. So be aware of where you plant them. Be aware of, whether you need to use more than one on a vehicle, for example. But again, be aware that if the enemy have these capabilities, they may also see them. Have we missed anything, Crossroads? I think we've gone through most of the equipment.
Aside from IR strobes.
IR strobes. Well, they work the same way as IR grenades in that you can attach them to vehicles
Yep.
and things. Is it IR strobes that last longer? If I remember rightly, an IR grenade only lasts for a couple of minutes.
Well, this is an IR strobe.
Oh, okay. It's got a different blink. Cool. Everyone see the difference?
Yes.
Great.
I think
Cool.
it blinks a bit brighter as well.
It's definitely
there should
more
be
obvious
this-
because it's more like it's flashing rather than sort of blinking, if that
Mm.
makes sense. It's a bit more
Yeah.
in your face.
So the grenades as well, another use for them. You can use them for degging air to ground.
So
bouncing
aircraft,
attack, stuff like that.
exactly. So for things like this, anything IR related, like an IR strobe, like Crossroads is using there, as you just said, aircraft can see it a mile away. All right. So for night fighting, fantastic.
Yeah. A good example of this in a movie is Black Hawk Down.
Oh, yeah, forgot about that. Really good.
I remember that movie. I almost got sent to the principal's office because of that movie.
Oh my God, what did you do?
I was drawing a helicopter shooting at people, stick figure people, by the way. I had a couple stick figures saluting the flag, and my teacher back in for like fourth grade
I
thought
get
I
it.
was planning on shooting the school
Great.
and sent me to the principal's office.
Great. Okay. I'm going to move wildly away from that topic. I'm glad I asked. The other thing I didn't point out is I don't really see much use for them, but we do have IR flares. Okay, so if you keep your NVs on and I ping a flare up, I've never used these before. So you got a flare that you can see through your night vision,
That is right. Holy fuck.
but you
It is
can
clear.
still see it without night vision, but it's not as bright as a normal white flare. But yeah, as soon as you turn your night vision on, it stands out like to no end. So again, if you're using night fighting capabilities and you've got IR flares, as before, you can use them to ID your position without necessarily lighting yourself up.
It's just
Yeah.
worth pointing out, if the enemy have nods, they will also use this.
Yeah, they'll also see it. That's the thing I can't stress enough. So all of these capabilities, just bear in mind the enemy may also see them. Okay, so do use what you deem necessary. But the other thing is, as we discussed earlier, don't just do your own thing. So if you know you're going to be doing a night fight, if you're not told what night fighting kit to take with you, be that person to go, hey, if we're doing a night fight, what kit should we be carrying? Okay, what do you want us to carry, boss? And whoever's in charge will go, oh yeah, good point. I want everyone to be carrying an IR laser on their rifle and an IR strobe on their backpack. Great, sorted. That way you all know you've got those things and you're all using the same thing. Same with the tracer color, stuff like that. Yeah, so don't be afraid to turn around and go, hey, everyone's carrying different colored tracers. I know the enemy's firing green. Can we just all fire yellow? Yeah, great. Good thinking. Anyone got any questions on these sort of different capabilities, different bits of equipment, stuff like that?
Negative.
No, not really.
Awesome. Right. What I will do. There's where the hell are we? Okay, cool. Right. So there is a box that I'm going to put on the stairs to the range. Okay. In the inventory of the box, there's various bits. Some of you may have already taken some of it out. What I will also do, because I'm a benevolent leader, is I'm going to add an option to a full arsenal to it as well. Okay. So don't kick the arse out of it, but Jesus. So by all means, go into that arsenal, kit yourself up with various flares and things like that. Light up the range with obviously flares and things.
Not on it.
Yeah, not actual crossroads. Don't light him up.
I will
And
light
get
you
used to
back
it.
up.
I did obviously say that this was going to be quite a sort of a shortish and simple session. So this was very much a little bit of an awareness rather than a full training. But yeah, go nuts with those chem lights, flares, etc., etc. Yeah, it's dark, so the server's going to stay dark now until further notice. Also, if you've got any thoughts and suggestions and things as well on using this kit, then we're all ears. But ultimately, as I said, it can sometimes just come down to whoever's in charge on that particular day. If I'm in charge of, especially if I've got armored assets, what I might be tempted to do is put IR strobes on my armored vehicles, especially on the top or on the back. Maybe not so much on the front. Why would I not put IR strobes on the front?
That's where the enemy is.
Exactly.
I'd
Also,
probably
makes
put
it
one
kinda
on the
difficult to
roof.
drive.
So the flares you provided do not work with that flare gun.
Pretty sure that's an open arsenal.
No, that's because they are UGL ones. So if you go
It
in,
says used in flare gun though.
in that case,
Also-
I have no idea.
Kind of worth pointing out, we have there's a tank. We have access to such things as star clusters, which are good for lighting up a large area, but they do not last for very long. As an example, if you look downrange, you will see one being deployed. Nods off, by the way, right now.
Yep. Look how much
Ooh.
light that's given us. Holy shit.
But they do not
One
last long.
thing I did just think about too is even with nods or all the chem-light shit, there is always a potential that somebody in a ghillie suit will be harder to be visible.
I mean,
If you're wearing a
if you
ghillie
can't
suit,
see
you
them
don't want to
normal-
be seen.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
I mean, like the enemy.
So,
Yep.
Yeah.
right. So obviously, Challenger 2, I've just plonked an IR strobe on the back of it to show that you can do that. You can put more than one. You can place them anywhere you like. But as I said, I would normally put them on the back or on the top, not on the front, because I don't want the enemy to see me coming. But something else you can also do. Is there a tree or a bush nearby? Not really.
Okay, I will be
Do, do,
going.
do,
I have
do.
work tomorrow, and I need to be up early. So it
No
was
worries.
fun catching up again. I will
Yup.
be back more often. So I'll see y'all then.
Cheerio.
I'm guessing with trees you're able to put IR strobes on trees.
Wasn't so much the IR strobes as it was the chem lights. So actually, Crossroads has just done it here. So there's an orange chem light just in front of the range. What I was going to say
tossed 'em.
was, oh, okay. So you can throw chem lights like you throw grenades. So if you're in a sniping position and you just want to make sure that whoever's on your team is like aware that you're roughly in that position, you could just chuck either an IR grenade or a chem light 5 meters away from you, so it's not on your body being covered up by all your kit,
Yeah.
the ghillie suit. But you can still,
Huh. This ultra high orange is brighter, if not as bright as that white one.
Yes, white light travels further than coloured light. So in the military, in real life, they will normally get people to carry red torch filters, so that when you're running around at night and you desperately need a torch, you're right in front of me, you can do stuff at night without the white light traveling for miles and miles and miles and potentially getting you killed.
Just tried this one. Shout out.
Holy fuck!
Nice.
I seem to be blind.
We're just comparing different ones. So this is the White Star parachute. Looks a bit brighter than the usual flare.
Oh, fuck me. Okay.
For me, it's not blinding. It's just everything is now very well illuminated. Like with using the night vision, I can almost clearly see almost everything that I'm
Okay,
looking at.
fine.
Yeah,
What are
my
you doing?
MVGs that I've got on right now are GPNVGs. The one with like the 4-pronged ones.
I'm
The
still
quad
using
mods.
the HMNVS still.
Yeah, CHNVS it does the job absolutely fine. Bear in mind that there are some DLC related ones as well, so you know some of those have got thermal, but you don't need that. The trouble with thermal, actually, this is a good point. I completely forgot to point this out. If you are using thermal imaging, some of this stuff does not show up. Things like the IR lasers, depending on what kind of laser it is and depending on what kind of thermal it is, you might not see it. So do not just completely do the entire mission in just thermal imaging, because there are things that you will not see. Okay.
So,
It's also,
really important note: thermal does not see through glass. So
Yep.
if you have thermal on and there is a glass pane, normal enemy will see you. If you have the thermal on, you'll get clapped. So
Yep.
have that in mind.
Yep, that's a very
Yep,
good point.
I was about to say it.
Yeah, that's a
Don't
very
beat
good point.
me to it.
So if I make up, I wonder if it does the same with the Land Rover
Shout
window. It
out.
typically should.
Just
Any
test.
vehicle you're inside of, it'll do it with glass.
Okay, so flare is a bit less brighter, I guess. So.
So obviously we haven't got any thermal imaging on us at the moment, but for example with this Land Rover, just through night vision, you can see clearly straight through the front window. If you had thermals, you would not be able to see if there's a driver in there or not.
You guys can use my nods if you want. Those have got the fucking thermals on them. Not that I use them.
Just pull some out the arsenal.
Yeah, I have like a special kit that I usually pick with it. That's the wrong button.
I'm gonna start bringing the star clusters now for on missions, the colored ones, just to indicate, hey, we're fucked. And it's just like, a sea of red everywhere.
So to give you
Should
some
be fun.
idea, I'm going to do it on my stream. So after about 60 seconds from now, if you're watching my stream, you'll see it. So if I use normal night vision and I look at the Land Rover, I can clearly see Crossroads sitting in there. And then as soon as I switch to thermal, the entire windscreen is just grey. I cannot see through the glass at all.
Yep.
I can come around behind it and see his thermal signature sticking out for the back of his head. But that's only because there isn't a window on the back. So yeah, so be aware of that. If you've got the access to thermal imaging, do not solely rely on it. Some people do. It is also quite easy to do because you're like, oh my god, I can see everything. No, you can't. All right.
Yeah.
Get used to switching between the different, like cycling between different modes.
Hmm.
On that point as
Hey,
well.
on
that point as well, just quickly, if you go into the inventory of the box here, so not the arsenal, the actual inventory, you'll also notice that I put various different scopes. So there is a Night Stalker, there is a TWS, and you've probably still got your SUSATs on as well. Leopold Mark IV hammer. So I want to talk about these 3 sights in particular, but there are various other ones as well. The Leopold Mark IV is just a basic sight. 2 times magnification. It's also got battle sight and type. If you've got a night vision sight on your head, you can still look through this scope, whereas most optics will not let you do that. Okay? So by all means, grab one of those out, see what it looks like for your night vision. The Night Stalker and the TWS are both night fighting specific scopes. They are literally, I think the Night Stalker is more thermal and TWS is, I think they're both thermal actually, but
Night Stalker has...
they've got their differences.
One at a time.
They've got their differences,
Yeah.
but essentially they're both night sights. Use both of them
Yeah.
on this range, because if you prefer one over the other, by all means start using it when we do night fighting in ops.
Yep. Night Stalker has 4 different modes. It has regular, night vision, and 2 different variations of thermal.
It has heat signature, and I can't remember what the orange and black one is.
It has white hot and black hot.
Okay, let me
That one.
just try it. Firing.
Yeah, just grab it and take a look. They're in there
The
so
Night
you can play around
Stalker-
with them.
It's
My
worth
favorite.
bearing in mind
So-
the TWS. There's 2 types of TWS scopes. There's one that you put on the back of a regular rifle or a marksman rifle, and then there's one that you put on top of a machine gun.
Yeah.
The one that you put on top of a machine gun has helpfully been named TWS MG.
Yeah, most people go for the Night Stalker over the TWS. It's got sort of a standard night vision mode as well,
I use neither.
and it has a battle
Yep.
sight on top. But it's your preference which scope you use. I will say when I'm doing night fighting, sometimes I will just use the Leopold hammer, even though it's not got a long distance on it. I'm normally using a battle rifle, so normally I'm only really effective up to 300 or 400 meters anyway. And for house clearing, it's good because it's got a 2x scope for people that are on down the other end of the road, but it's got the battle sight on top for people that are right in front of your face. So again, try these different sights out, see what works, and especially for your night fighting, definitely remember which scopes you prefer at night, because not all of them let you wear your nods, especially the sniper scopes.
Yep.
If you are a sniper and you're fighting at night, you are going to want to use the Night Stalker or TWS or something similar.
I like my Night Stalker. If I remember right, the Night Stalker also comes in with an integrated rangefinder.
Yeah, it does. It's got its uses, definitely. I'm normally outfitted for closer range engagements. I don't, to be honest, I will sometimes carry a marksman rifle, but if I'm going to be completely honest, I like to get my team in amongst the enemy. So I personally will lean more towards assault rifles and things nowadays. Occasionally you'll see me carrying a DMR, but it depends on the terrain we're going into.
So
Yep.
the Alcon Spectre DRs 1x4x have got 3 types. They've got a battle sight, you've got a full zoomed in, and then you've got like a 3D sight. With the 3D sight, you can look through the main magnified optic and still use your night vision.
Correct. So I say again, before we sort of call it index and let you all go off and do whatever you want to do, has anybody got any questions, any feedback, any suggestions based on night fighting capabilities?
Nope.
If I remember right, this one's kind of out of Arma now. But just a quick question: aren't they trying to create a new nod system where it doesn't rely on night intensity or light intensity?
It may be. I mean, night nods have improved over the years. So if you
Yeah.
go back to like the first generation of night fighting, like light intensifiers and stuff, they were really, really grainy. Yeah, they were better than nothing, but they were bulky, they were grainy. Rifle scopes in particular, the really old night fighting scopes were fucking huge. On an SA-80 it was nearly as big as the rifle. Okay, they're not hugely smaller now, but they're not as bad as they were.
Yep. I just remember I think they had like a integrated night vision thermal system, if I remember right.
It's the new development of the US Army. They are trying to integrate thermal into night vision, and by using some computery magic, I don't know what, thermal is used for outlines, and so you're getting this augmented image where the silhouettes of the enemy, vehicles, anything that has a thermal signature will be outlined in your nods. So it does exist, but it costs an arm and a leg, and yeah.
Only special forces will get it.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
most likely not.
I mean, you can get it even as a civilian as a clip onto your PVS-14, but it's still 5k for a clip onto the PVS-14, which is like what 10k. So,
blimey. Also, not to sound really obvious, but we are in a firing range as well. So if you want to fire tracer rounds, or if you want to test your scope on the range here, you're more than welcome to. All right.
oh,
Very
I don't
quickly
have
with
well, so I'm good.
very
I am.
very quickly with the nods that you got on your head, if you press Alt and page up or page down, you can change how sensitive your nods are.
What do you mean by?
Crap.
Press
Thank
the
you.
buttons and find out.
Oh, so you can
So-
heighten or lower the brightness,
Yes.
kind of thing.
So if you're going under a lamp or something and you get a bit blinded, instead of taking your nods off, turn the brightness down.
Is that a Hunt IR?
Yeah.
Alt and page up
Yes.
and page down?
Yes.
Oh.
So, Inhuman appears to have jumped to a slightly different lesson, which is to do with things like observation and recon and things like that. He has just launched
Oh, hey,
what is
thank you.
basically a camera attached to a parachute.
And it
Camera
goes
with
with the
night
wind.
vision.
Yeah.
Smile for the camera.
I wonder if I can shoot it.
Go for it. Contact, parachute, bearing 7.6, up high, 300 meters.
Oh,
you
hit it.
actually hit it.
I bounced it.
You actually hit
Nice.
it.
Straight
It's
through.
falling faster. Good shot. Yep. Kicked me out.
Fair.
And- oh.
There you go. Yeah, the enemy do target drones as well if they can see them. Right, well, I don't know about you guys, unless there's anything else you guys want me to go over or confirm, I'm going to hop off Arma 3. I don't know. I think that's all we needed to cover tonight.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
As I say, I mean, I was going to contemplate a little bit of standardization, but ultimately I think there's so many different capabilities here that it should just come down to whoever's mission lead at the time. If you know you're doing a
Yeah.
night op and that isn't covered, then just turn around to whoever's in charge of the mission and just go, hey, can we just standardize our night fighting stuff? Yeah, great.
Mhm.
All right.
Before I guess you and Crosshair's help off, Jen, do you still have like 30 minutes to do the weapons thing?
Oh, do you want me to just teleport you up to 600 meter range and make it day?
Yep, that'll be
I
great.
need a rifle first.
You'll
You
get
will
one.
have it.
Grab
You'll
one.
get
Don't
one.
worry.
Okay.
Yeah. Give me a sec.
Are you doing the teleporting or the timing?
Ow!
Oh, Jesus.
Ow.
Fuck.
Jenna.
Oh.
Oh, fucking Jenna and Hoom are not next to each other.
It's all right.
Teleport those. Everyone's going to get moved.
Oh, you're doing it.
Hell.
Yeah.
Go on then. Up to Comet Range, yeah?
Yeah.
Sweet. Ow.
Yeah, this
Ow.
was the range that I was looking for a while ago when I wanted to dish up on my.
You realise it's marked on the
Sniping.
map?
It's northeast, top of the map.
All the ranges are marked on the map, so everywhere where we do live firing is on the map. Usually with a big red indicator.
So we're at the small arms range.
Comet Range. Northeast. I
Wanna
don't
grab this rifle?
think there's anywhere left that is just called
Okay.
Small Arms Range.
Get the SA-80 for now. I'm intensely pulling up the documents I was supposed to have like 5 minutes ago.
Okay, Jenna.
No.
While humans doing documents, I'll do a very, very quick run through of this, although this is teaching you suck eggs, so this will be quick. Okay, so there's 4 different weapon systems that you need to fire. Please do not
Mhm.
point your pistol at me again. At ranges up to and including 600 meters. So essentially you're going to go 2, 4, 600 meters, or whatever Inhuman decides you need to do.
Mhm.
It's not an accuracy test. It's purely to teach you how the different weapons react at those different ranges, a few different sites and things like that. It's all stuff that you probably already know, but it's all good to learn. Each one of these boxes, whatever weapon is next to it, is the weapon that the box will have, and you'll basically work from left to right. There's an equipment box in the middle that's got a few odds and sods as well, like medikits and MREs and shit. So,
Mhm.
what I need you to basically do is each time you come back here to change to another weapon, which in this case is the L85, it's an arsenal interaction. So go to the arsenal, okay, grab the weapon system, and then on the right hand side, each weapon system there's also a different scope that you will need to use. So for this first one, it'll be the SUSAT. And then in terms of ammunition, just make sure you've got 3 or more magazines / belts for that weapon.
Okay.
The reason being 200, 400, 600 meters. Home, are you happy to go from there?
Yep. Okay,
I'm
so
going to leave you in Whom's capable hands.
implying. Right. Okay. Should we move to a different voice channel or?
Yeah, you can do if you like. And also feel free to use the Land Rover to get around.
Yep, we'll do.
Also, now that I'm thinking about it, am I clear for putting a few downrange?
You're more than free to join us.
Yeah, just don't fire over the top of the other two. So if they're at 200 meters, don't be firing from 300, 400, 500, 600 meters. All right.
Just hop into PRR channel 2. Like you'll tag along with us, okay?
Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Crossroads, I believe you have a date with a troll.
Do I?
You probably do. Should we find out?
I was about to say, do you want to do the assaults? We haven't done them today yet.
We can do if that's what your mood is taking you.
Channel switched.
Also, I think you need to